Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7. And Brahmaji is explaining how he created the universe, and he's going into that kind of thing. So he's explaining to Narad Muni. So let's call out to Bhagavan Shri Krishna and let's hope that the beautiful words of the Srimad Bhagavatam touch our heart and stay within us, and give us nourishment, give us bhakti, and bring us closer to the. Um, I'm trying to find the Hindi word lotus feet, Hindi pankaj, padu pankaj of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Okay, that's not Hindi, Sanskrit word. Okay, so let's call out to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dear Bhagwan Shri Krishna, please, please, please help us absorb these words of yours so that we can come closer to you, to your Pad Pankaj. Please help us want absolutely nothing else. Please help us detach from everything else while still maintaining a lot of love and compassion for everyone, every other soul in the material world, but at the same time not having any attachment to anything but your lotus feet. Okay, let us read the text. Scheduled incarnations with specific functions. Text 1. Lord Brahma said, when the unlimitedly powerful Lord assumed the form of a boar as a pastime, just to lift the planet Earth, which was drowned in the great ocean of the universe called Garbhodhaka, the first demon, Hiranyakashipu, appeared, and the Lord pierced him with his tusk. Okay, so this was the boar pastime. I don't know that boar pastime very well, but of course it's one of the 10 avatars, Dashavatars of. I mean, he's got unlimited avatars, but the Dashavatars are the biggest ones. So it was. He took that and he lifted, and then Hiranyakashipu appeared, and the Lord pierced him with his tusk. 2. The Prajapati first begot Sujanya in the womb of his wife Akuti, and then Sujanya begot demigods headed by Suyama in the womb of his wife Dakshina. Sujanya, as the Indradev, diminished very great miseries in the three planetary systems, upper, lower, and intermediate, and because he so diminished the miseries of the universe, he was later called Hari by the great father of mankind, namely Shambhavu Manu. Okay, I'm totally lost whatever this means. 3. The Lord then appeared as Kapila incarnation, being the son of the Prajapati Brahman, Kardama, and his wife Devahuti. Yeah, that story I know, along with the other 9 women sisters. He spoke to his mother about self-realization. So because Kapil was Bhagwan and he was born as the son of Devahuti, he spoke to his mother Devahuti about self-realization, by which in that very lifetime she became fully cleansed of the mud of material modes and thereby achieved liberation, the path of Kapila. 4. The great sage Atri prayed for offspring, and the Lord, being satisfied with him, promised to incarnate as Atri's son, Dattatreya, Datta the son of Atri, and by the grace of the lotus feet of the Lord, many Yadus, Hayas, etc., became so purified that they obtained both material and spiritual blessings. 5. To create different planetary systems, I had to undergo austerities and penance, and the Lord, thus being pleased with me, incarnated in 4 sanas: Sanaka, Sanat Kumar, Sanandana, and Sanatan. In the previous creation of this, the spiritual truth was devastated, but the 4 sanas explained it so nicely that the truth at once became clearly perceived by the sages. 6. To exhibit his personal way of austerity and penance, he appeared in twin forms as Narayan and Nar in the womb of Murti, the wife of Dharma and the daughter of Daksha. Celestial beauties, the companions of Cupid, went to try and break his vows, but they were unsuccessful, for they saw that many beauties like them were emanating from him, Bhagwan. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him, yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of him, the Lord, who is above all this. So how can lust take shelter in his mind? 8. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took severe penances in the forest, and the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages both upward and downward. So I know the story of Dhruv Maharaj. 9. Maharaj Vena went astray from the path of righteousness, and Brahmins chastised him by thunderbolt curse. By this, King Vena was burnt with his good deeds and opulence and was en route to hell. The Lord, by his causeless mercy, descended as his son, by the name of Prithu, delivered the condemned King Vena from hell, and exploited the earth by drawing all kinds of crops as produce. 10. The Lord appeared as the son of Sudevi, the wife of King Nabhi, and was known as Rishabdev. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional stage of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied. So I guess he's talking about the different avatars. The Lord appeared as Hayagriva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me, Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well, and the supersoul of all demigods. When he breathed, all the sweet sounds of Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. 12. At the end of the millennium, the would-be Vaishvata Manu, the Satyavrata, would see that the Lord in the fish incarnation is the shelter of all kinds of living entities, up to those in the earthly planets. Because of my fear of vast water at the end of the millennium, the Vedas came out of my Brahma's mouth, and the Lord enjoys those vast waters and protects the Vedas. Okay, 13. The primeval Lord then assumed the tortoise incarnation in order to serve as a resting place pivot for the Mandara mountain, which was acting as a churning rod. The demigods and demons were churning the ocean of milk with the Mandara mountain in order to extract nectar. The mountain moved back and forth, scratching the back of the Lord Tortoise, who, while partially sleeping, was experiencing an itching sensation. That's funny. 14. Bhagwan assumed the incarnation of Narsimha Dev in order to vanquish the great fears of the demigods. He killed the kings of the demons Hiranyakashipu, who challenged the Lord with a club in his hand by placing the demon on his thighs and piercing him with his nails, rolling his eyebrows in anger and showing his fearful teeth and mouth. This one, of course, I know. 15. The leader of the elephants, whose leg was attacked in a river by a crocodile of superior strength, Gajendra, was much aggrieved. Taking a lotus flower in his trunk, he addressed the Lord, saying, O original enjoyer, Bhagwan of the universe, O deliverer, as famous as a place of pilgrimage, all are purified simply by hearing your holy name, which is worthy to be chanted. 16. Bhagwan, after hearing the elephant's plea, felt that the elephant needed his immediate help, for he was in great distress. Thus at once Bhagwan appeared there on the wings of the king of birds, Garuda, fully equipped with his weapon, the wheel, Chakra. With the wheel he cut to pieces the mouth of the crocodile to save the elephant, and he delivered the elephant by lifting him by his trunk. 17. The Lord, though transcendental to all material modes, still surpassed the qualities of all the sons of Aditi, known as Adityas. The Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi, and because he surpassed all of the planets of the universe, he is Bhagwan. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. 18. Bali Maharaj, who put his head on the water washed from the lotus feet of Bhagwan, did not think of anything besides his promise, in spite of being forbidden by his spiritual master. The king dedicated his own personal body to fulfill the measurement of the Lord's 3rd step. For such a personality, even the kingdom of heaven, which he conquered by his strength, was of no value. 19. O Narad, you were taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by Bhagwan in his incarnation of Hamsavatar. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is especially understandable by persons who are soul surrendered unto Lord Vasudeva the Bhagwan. 20. As the incarnation of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of the Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon. Undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas and above them to the planetary system of Satyalok, the topmost in the universe. 21. The Lord in his incarnation of Dhanvantari very quickly cures the disease of the ever diseased living entities simply by his fame personified, and because of him only do the demigods achieve long lives. Thus Bhagwan becomes ever glorified. He also exacted a share from the sacrifices, and it is he only who inaugurated the medical science or the knowledge of medicine in the universe. So anything related to life, longer life, or anything, health, is the incarnation of Bhagwan called Dhanvantari. 22. When the ruling administrators, who are known as Kshatriyas, turn astray from the path of the absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in health, the Lord, in his incarnation as the sage Parshuram, uprooted those unwanted kings who appeared as thorns of the earth. Thus he thrice 7 times uprooted Kshatriyas with his keenly sharpened chopper. 23. Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, Bhagwan, along with his planetary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ikshvaku as the lord of his internal potency Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dashrath, he entered the forest and lived there for 14 years with his wife and younger brother. Ravan, who was very materially powerful with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him, and he was thus ultimately vanquished. 24. Bhagwan Ramchandra, being aggrieved for his distant, intimate friend Sita, glanced over the city and the enemy Ravan with red-hot eyes like those of Hara, who wanted to burn the kingdom of heaven. The great ocean, trembling in fear, gave him his way because its family members, the aquatics like sharks, snakes, and crocodiles, were being burned by the heat of the angry red-hot eyes of the Lord. 25. When Ravan was engaged in the battle, the trunk of the elephant which carried the king of heaven, Indra, broke to pieces, having collided with the chest of Ravan, and the scattered broken parts illuminated all directions. Ravan therefore felt proud of his prowess and began to loiter in the midst of fighting soldiers, thinking himself the conqueror of all directions. But his laughter, overtaken by joy, along with his very air of life, suddenly ceased with the tingling sound of the bow of Ramchandra, Bhagwan. 26. When the world is overburdened by the fighting strength of kings who have no faith in God, the Lord, just to diminish the distress of the world, descends with his plenary portion. The Lord comes in his original form with beautiful black hair, and just to expand his transcendental glories, he acts extraordinarily. No one can properly estimate how great he is. 27. There is no doubt about Bhagwan's being the Supreme Lord, Bhagwan Krishna. Otherwise, how is it possible for him to kill a giant demon like Putana when he was just on the lap of his mother, to overturn a cart with his leg when he was only 3 months old, or to uproot a pair of Arjun trees so high that they touched the sky when he was only crawling? All these activities are impossible for anyone other than Bhagwan himself. 28. Then also when the cowherd boys and their animals drank the poisoned water of the river Yamuna, and after the Lord in his childhood revived them by his merciful glance, just to purify the water of the river Yamuna, he jumped into it as if playing and chastised the venomous Kalia snake which was lurking there, its tongue emitting waves of poison. Who can perform such Herculean tasks but the Lord, the Supreme Lord? 29. On the very night of the day of the chastisement of the Kalia snake, when the inhabitants of Rajbhumi were sleeping carefreely, there was a forest fire ablaze due to dry leaves, and it appeared that all the inhabitants were sure to meet their death. But the Lord, along with Balram, saved them by simply closing his eyes. Such are the superhuman activities of the Lord. 30. When the cowherd women, Krishna's foster mother Yashoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with the ropes. She found the rope to always be insufficient in length, and when she finally gave up, Bhagwan Krishna by and by opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son. 31. Bhagwan Krishna saved his foster father Nand Maharaj from the fear of the demigod Varun and released the cowherd boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. And also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan who were working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor at the day, Bhagwan Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his godhood. 32. When the cowherd men of Vrindavan, under instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Vraja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rains for 7 days. Bhagwan Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Vraja, held up the hill known as Govardhan with one hand only, with one finger, although he was only 7 years old. He did this to protect the animals from onslaught of water and the Vrajvasis. 33. When the Lord was engaged in his pastimes of the Ras dance in the forest of Vrindavan, enlivening the sexual desires of the wives and inhabitants of Vrindavan by sweet and melodious songs, a demon of the name Shankhachuda, a rich follower of the treasurer of heaven, Kuver, kidnapped the damsels. Oh, I don't know the story. And the Lord severed his head from his trunk. 34 and 35. All demoniac personalities like Pralambha, Dhenuka, Baka, Keshi, Arishta, Chanur, Mushtik, Kuvalyapid, elephant, Kamsa, Yavana, Narakasur, Paundraka, the great marshals like Shalva, Dvivida, Monkey, and Balvala, Dantavakra, the seven bulls, Shambhara, Viduratha, Rukmi, as also great warriors like Kamboja, Matsya, Kuru, Srinjaya, Kekaya would all fight vigorously either with the Lord Hari directly or with him under his names of Baldev, Arjun, Bhim, etc. And the demons, thus being killed, would attain either impersonal Brahmajyoti or his personal abode in the Vaikuntha planets. 36. The Lord himself, in his incarnation as the son of Satyavati, Vyasadeva, will consider his compilation of the Vedic literature to be very difficult for the less intelligent persons with short life, and thus he will divide the tree of Vedic knowledge into different branches according to the circumstances of the particular age. 37. When the atheists, after being well versed in the Vedic scientific knowledge, annihilate inhabitants of different planets, flying unseen in the sky on well-built rockets prepared by great scientist Maya, Lord will bewilder their minds by dressing himself attractively as Buddha and will preach on sub-religious principles. 38. Therefore, at the end of Kali Yuga, where there exists no topic on the subject of God, even at the residences of the so-called saints and respectable gentlemen of the three higher castes, and when the power of government is transferred to the hands of ministers elected from the low-born Shudra class or those less intelligent, less than them, and when nothing is known of the techniques of sacrifice, even by word, at that time Lord will appear as the supreme chastiser. This is Kalki. So what I've heard, and I don't know if I don't have Shastric reference to this, is that in the Manvantara, in the Yuga or whatever, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, Kalki will not come because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already come. So for us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here. We are very, 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 very lucky that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here. But because he was here, Kalki is probably, according to that, I don't have Shastric reference, but he will not be coming this time. I've listened to this cosmology series twice, but I don't remember what it's called. The Manvantara and then Kalpa and then this and that, and there's so many words. I'll remember it at some point, but right now I forget. 39. At the beginning of creation, there are penances, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate. And then during maintenance of the creation, there are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then Lord Shiva and atheists full of anger, etc. All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. 40. Who can describe completely the prowess of Vishnu? Even the scientists who might have counted the particles of atoms of the universe cannot do so, because it is he only who, in his form of Trivikrama, moved his leg effortlessly beyond the topmost planet, Satyalok, up to the neutral state of three modes of material nature. All were moved. 41. Neither I nor all the sages born before you know fully the omnipotent personality of Godhead. So, what can others who are born after us know about him? Even the first incarnation of the Lord, namely Shesha, has not been able to reach the limit of such knowledge, though he is describing the qualities of the Lord with 10,000 faces. 42. But anyone who is specifically favored by Bhagwan due to unalloyed surrender to the service of Bhagwan can overcome the insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand Bhagwan. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the end by dogs and jackals, cannot do so. So this is a very beautiful verse. Basically, if we just surrender, and we need to have mercy of Bhagwan to be able to even surrender, to be able to want him to have bhakti. But when we have that, then we don't care about this body anymore. 43 to 45. O Narad, though the potencies of the Lord are unknowable and immeasurable, still because we are all surrendered souls, we know how he acts through Yoga Maya potencies. And similarly, the potencies of the Lord are also known as to the all-powerful Shiva, the great. Oh, today is Mahashivratri. Happy Mahashivratri. Um, and the great king of the atheist family, namely Prahlad Maharaj, Swayambhuva Manu, his wife, Shatarupa, his sons and daughters like Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti, Prachina Barhi, Ribhu, Anga, the father of Vena, Maharaj Dhruva, Ikshvaku, Aila, Muchukunda, Maharaj Janaka, Gandhi, Raghu, Ambarish, Sagar, Gaya, Nahush, Mandahata, Alarka, Shatadhanuve, Anu, Rantidev, Bhishma, Bali, Amrutayat, Dilip, Saurabhi, Utanka, Sibi, Devala, Pipalada, Saraswata, Uddhava, Parashar, Bhurishen, Vibhishan, Hanuman, Shukdev Goswami, Arjun, Arthishen, Vidur, Shrutadev, etc. Okay. Okay. 46. Surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women. Oh, okay. Now this is, see, I don't know. So groups are women lead sinful lives, really? The laborer class, the mountaineers, the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts can also know about the science of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. 47. What is realized as the absolute Brahman is full of unlimited bliss without grief. That is certainly the ultimate phase of the supreme enjoyer, God. He is eternally void of all disturbances and is fearless. He is complete consciousness as opposed to matter, uncontaminated and without distinctions. He is the principal primeval cause of all causes and effects, in whom there is no sacrifice for fruitive activities and in whom the illusory energy does not stand. 48. In such a transcendental state, there is no need of artificial control of the mind, mental speculation, or meditation, as performed by the Gyanis and Yogis. One gives up such processes as the heavenly king Indra foregoes the trouble to dig a well. 49. God is the supreme master of everything auspicious because the results of whatever actions are performed by the living being in either the material or spiritual existence are awarded by the Lord. As such, he is the ultimate benefactor. Every living entity is unborn, and therefore, even after the annihilation of the material elementary body, the living entity exists exactly like the air within the body. 50. My dear son, I have now explained in brief Bhagwan, who is the creator of manifested worlds. Without him, Hari the Lord, there are no other causes of the phenomenal and nominal existences. 51. O Narad, this science of God, Srimad Bhagavatam, was spoken to me in summary by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it was spoken as the accumulation of his diverse potencies. Please expand this science yourself. 52. Please describe the science of Bhagwan with determination and in a manner by which it will be quite possible for the human being to develop transcendental devotional service unto Bhagwan Hari, the supersoul of every living being, and the summum bonum source of all energies. 53. The Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated, and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. Okay, so that's it for this chapter. We'll do chapter 8 in the next video, Canto 2, chapter 8. Wish you a day filled with lots of Bhagwan Shri Krishna's mercy and devotion and bhakti. Radhe Radhe.